Okay. This is my persuasive speech. I have my 3 audience members. My cameraman is going to turn to the audience members. In February 2011, a married couple locked 3 adopted children in cages, fed them dog food, and the 3 children were tortured on a day-to-day basis. With red-hot irons, they beat them until they were unconscious, even grabbed them in certain areas of their body parts while the husband stood there and watched. The ages of the children, 2 boys, 11 and 15, and a girl aged 9. This is just one of the horrific and disturbing stories and cases that we hear today, day in and day out, that relates to child abuse. It happens more often than we realize and more often than we think. A Health Pediatrics magazine reported statistics in 2009 that just over 1,500 children die each day in the U.S. from child abuse and neglect. 905,000 children were victims of child abuse in 2006. 70% of child abuse victims are under the age of 3 years old. Over 80% of abused children were abused by one of their parents. Even more startling statistics, according to the National Abuse Statistics, every year 3.3 million reports of child abuse are made in the United States, including 6 million children. Even worse, we lose 5 children every day to abuse. So where does the problem lie? How does child abuse start? How do individuals resort to child abuse? What can we do to make a change? Let's define the definition of child abuse. Child abuse is an injury or even death to a child. Through abuse, child abuse can also resort from not only physical but also emotional abuse or sexual harm. It could also lead to neglect. Statistics from a Psychology Today magazine stated that child abuse stems from alcoholism, anger issues, substance abuse, and also from someone that has went through some type of child abuse themselves growing up. Child abuse, unfortunately, is a very common thing of today. It can occur in any culture or any ethnicity. It can also be related to physical, emotional, verbal, or sexual abuse. Studies show that 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 8 boys are sexually abused before the age of 18. Many times there are witnessing acts of a parent of this abuse. There are also untold stories of abuse. Many children are scared to tell someone. Their abusers have told them, if you tell someone, they're going to do something to you, or a parent. We also see various movies of today that have shown on TV about abuse, namely the movie Precious, which is a story about Precious Jones, who incurs horrific abuse and overcomes it. Lord Damas gave a speech in 1997. He stated that 30% of men and 40% of women remember being abused, sexually molested, and abused during childhood. Child abuse starts when the child feels as if they can't escape. It feels that when they're in a circumstance that's hurting them and it's making them feel uncomfortable. Let's look at the signs of all types of abuse. Physical abuse is unexplained and unrepeated injuries, such as welts, bruises, burns. Physical abuse can come from a disagreement with a child or a parent. Usually when you ask the parent or child what happened to the injury, you always get an unexplainable story of the injury. Fearful behavior. Emotional verbal abuse is aggressive or withdrawn behavior, shying away from physical contact with parents or adults, afraid to go home. Sexual abuse is when a child tells he or she of a sexual mistreated conduct. A child has physical signs such as difficulty walking, sitting, stained or bloody underwear, itching, swelling, wetness, or discharge. The emotional signs of sexual abuse are difficulty eating or sleeping, soiling or wetting pants or bed after being potty trained, acting much younger than you should, excessive crying or sadness, withdrawing from activities and others, talking about sexual activities that you shouldn't be speaking of. These are just to name a few signs. It's really hard to narrow down where child abuse starts and where it stems from. There are so many various factors of child abuse. It varies and can be hard to be understood. Why anyone would hurt a child, let alone kill one. But every day it happens. And there are many fearful children currently involved in the situation right now and are afraid to tell someone that they are being abused. It's easy to say that people who are abused from someone who's has a mental problem or disorder. But according to statistics, 10% of abusers have a mental illness. Some abusers actually care and love their children. However, due to lack of maturity and patience of the individual, many of those individuals still become abusers. Child abuse can come from previous violence, social stress, unstable family structure, and so on. Many children came from violent homes. They learn to be violent from how they grow up. Psychology Today states that 30% of abused children become abusive parents, whereas only 2 to 3% of all individuals become abusive parents. Many experts believe that an important indicator is teaching your child at an early age and recognizing the behavior when it's wrong. Some children grow up thinking if they've done something wrong, they deserve to be abused. So the signs go ignored. Today, there are many processes that are in place to detect abuse, such as making sure that you educate your child. There are also sexual offenders that have to be registered through every county and every area that they live in. There are also many organizations out there and resources that help prevent child abuse. April is designated as National Child Prevention Month. It's a time to recognize when each play a part in promoting social and emotional awareness to help prevent child abuse. The prevention of child abuse starts from everyone. It means acting out for the cause, doing something to prevent child abuse. It means just not sitting there and watching things happen. It means being proactive, talking to your children, making them feel comfortable when coming to you, and keeping the lines of communication open. Abuse and neglect can occur from anyone or anywhere. Notice your family members. Be there for them. Provide help and stability with your parents within your family. By doing something and preventing child abuse, we can help one cause at a time.